Oh God. I was hearing the rumors, but I didn't think he'd actually do it. As if our town wasn't a big miserable wasteland of violence, misery, and murder already. Now he's actually welcoming their kind into it as well. Frisk paused, her hairbrush in mid-stroke, as she heard the piano man grumble crudely under his breath. She hadn't sang in this club before, and truth be told, it didn't have a great dressing room for performers to get all dolled up, as many owners put it. So Frisk took it upon herself to dress up in the ladies' bathroom. After putting on her shimmery low-cut baby blue dress and applying all that heavy makeup to her face, she exited the bathroom, leaving her after-show clothes in one of the broken stalls, and began brushing her hair on stage. It didn't take much to styling, which was one of the main reasons why Frisk had cut it short into a bob hairstyle. One less stupid thing she had to worry about before she got on stage. Just brush it till it looks neat, put a flower in it, and the crowd still think you look like $1,000,000. Not that Frisk cared too much about what her fans thought of her. All she wanted to do was sing, get paid, and go home before she saw another fight break out between the members of her audience. Gang members erupting into violent and bloody fights in the middle of her songs were becoming more and more common over the last few months. And what were these fights over? Anything, really? Gang members enter another gang's territory, drug deals gone bad, gun deals gone horribly bad. It didn't matter. The result was always the same. Somebody would be leaving in a body bag. Frisk hadn't gotten used to it, but she had definitely become quicker with dodging flying bullets and pieces of furniture that came her way. She tried to deny it when she was younger, but now it was obvious. Her once pretty city was quickly sinking into corruption, thanks largely to the mob groups that were overtaking large areas of her city. The Dons and high-class mobsters ran everything from the small mom-and-pop stores to the police force. Even the city's officials were nothing more than corrupt individuals in nice suits with clean smiles. The good, decent poor folks suffered the most, having to pay out protection fees, but there were always more ways to make money. Everybody had a price. Everybody could endure or change themselves for money. Frisk knew. To her despair, she watched a number of her longtime friends get lost in the world of easy money and quick deaths. She had been to more funerals than birthday parties this year alone. She could never blame them, though. The world was going through a depression after all, and Frisk herself was not exactly a wealthy professional singer. Right now, her gigs were at seedy clubs with even seedier owners, whose businesses reeked of cigar smoke and strong booze, and no matter how many times Frisk showered, the smell seemed to linger. And her nightly audiences were the lowest class of criminals. Not that Frisk judged them on poverty levels. In fact, most of the best people she knew were struggling to get by. But when it all came down to the wire, a rich mobster was just as bad as his poor lackey. Both types murder for money and power, and both types will harm the innocent to get what they want. Frisk really needed to get out. She just hadn't saved enough money yet. She may have been a popular singer in these types of bars, but the pay wasn't great. She made just enough to pay for her crappy apartment, her bills, and the protection fee her local police force demanded of its residents.
Look at the last table in the back. You'll see what I'm talking about, Toots.
Seeing Don D was a shock in itself. Even a small fish like Frisk knew who he was just by looking at him. A top dog, a big shot, a huge fish. And the fact that he was sitting in this piece of shit of a bar was astounding in itself. The man was known for class and expensive taste. The suit he was wearing outshined all the cheap ones that almost all the other club patrons were wearing. But the Don being here wasn't the most shocking part. The most shocking part was his companion. The gentleman sitting beside the Don was not from the city, to say the least, and if he had entered the club by himself, he would have been killed instantly. But sitting with the Don made him untouchable. In fact, most patrons were going out of their way not to stare at him.
Say, is he?
Yep, the Don himself is inviting monsters in the operation now. Can you believe that, Toots? Disgusting monsters. He's making a mistake is what he's doing. Gonna lose all that respect. Monsters. Now this town really has sunk as low as it can go.
Frisk frowned at his choice of words and the effect they had on her, but continued to stare, even though she felt a little bad doing it. She knew that people who differed from her own race, and in this case species, shouldn't be stared at like they were some kind of spectacle. But Frisk really couldn't help herself. Sure, she heard all about the monsters that lived in the neighboring cities miles away from her own. And sure, she knew they looked different from humans and their customs and politics were worlds apart from human. But to actually see one was, well, it was something that deserved a second glance.